Good evening, grinders. This is the Christopher Complex coming at you one more time again. It's always good to just talk to y'all, man. So tonight I want to talk about beliefs. You may have heard it before. I went to, as I told you guys, I did the Tony Robbins thing. Read a lot of books, man. There's a guy named Bruce Lipton. And he talks about beliefs and how it's even encoded in your cell structure. The biology of beliefs is his book. You gotta get it. It will change your life. I'm gonna be honest with you. It'll literally make you think you Yoda. You're like, okay, so there's a book out there that'll make me think I'm Yoda. Yeah. I mean, if you call Bruce Lipton and you ask him, could Star Wars be real? He's going to tell you yes. Meaning the Force, because belief, we don't know the full potential of belief. We really just don't. I mean, we'll get into belief when our sports team could possibly make it to the World Series. They would start getting picket signs that say belief on it and stuff like that. And, we'll find belief if somebody's not doing well in the hospital. But belief, man, belief is everything. And I've said it before. But, this is Good Evening Grinders. And I just want to talk about belief in a different way. Your beliefs might be making it hard for you to attain. It happened to me. It still happens to me. So a lot of times I just, believe certain things. And I'm not talking about belief in yourself. I'm talking about what you believe, will happen, or what you don't believe will happen. Belief is everything. Belief is really important. And sometimes your belief can turn into rules, and those rules is what's going to make it harder for you to attain. Like, you could pray and say, I would like X, Y, Z, and ABC to happen, and it show up the next day or the next minute. And because it wasn't set in the rules or the frame that you adopted or you made for yourself, you'll just let it go by. But like, man, I wish, I had an opportunity to do X, Y, Z, and ABC, and then the opportunity presented itself, and you'd be like, man, that looks like the opportunity, but I wouldn't do it that way because, it doesn't fit my rules or my belief or the way I think it should happen. Like, sometimes we'll be like, I think that if I am going to do something, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be a certain standard. It's got to be right. Sometimes we just don't have time for that. Because what you have is a blessing that nobody else has. And you might be holding it back from all of us in the world for us to share and enjoy. But because you have a belief that something should be a certain way or go a certain way, and you won't do it because now you made a rule. So if it's got to happen, it's got to be a certain way. And if it don't happen, it's like a if-then type of situation. If it's not this way, then my rule tells me not to move. When you asked for it and you weren't specific enough to ask how you wanted it to happen. And sometimes it just don't come that way. Nature doesn't make anything straight. Look at a tree. Trees don't grow straight. And some of them do, but they don't perfectly grow straight. Nature has curves and bends and it twists and turns, but it continually goes in the direction that it needs to go into. Let's say that again. Nature may twist and turn and bend, but it still goes in the direction that it needs to go into. Look at a tree, look at grass, look at anything that grows. Like if you look at a pot, and the pot has a plant in it, and the plant's determination is to grow from a bulb, like a tube or type of plant. And the plant's only rule is grow. That's the plant's only rule. don't have but one belief. I'm growing. I'm doing this. I took a plant that was in my house and, you know, it was sitting there and stuff like that. And I just like, look, we're going to make this sucker do what it do. Because I understood nature and I understood plants. Somebody was saying, well, you need to do this first. And I was just like, no, that plant already has the determination. And if we had the same determination and stop putting in all these beliefs and frames and pots and stuff like that, watch this plant grow. Now, the plant's belief is, if you give me water, some dirt, oxygen, or carbon monoxide or dioxide, I forgot which one it is, and some sunlight, the laws of photosynthesis said I'm going to just grow. And if I took this plant and I put it on top of the shelf, and I knew that the sun was going to be in a certain way, and if you're still enough yourself, you can actually see plants stretch and grow. And they grow really fast. Most people don't think they do, but they grow fast because they believe in abundance. They believe in working hard. And if you look at plants, depending upon where the sun is, it's always going to move towards the sun. And it may twist and it may turn and it may get stiff in that position. And funny thing is, the position that that plant got into is so much more interesting than if it just grew straight. It's so much more interesting than if it just grew straight and went and did what it did. It was, what it wanted to do. The plant knows, I am determined to grow. I am determined to suck all of the energy out of something called the sun. All of the energy and resources out of the dirt and water and grow. That's what we need to do. We need to believe that we are determined to suck all of the energy resources out of something that's positive and nurturing and grow. You got off of your spaceship. You came down here. You beamed up, Scotty, onto this earth to do something. We all celebrate celebrities because they worked hard and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. We could do the same thing. And sometimes, other people put their beliefs on us, or we hear it through social proof or some other influences, through one of the influences written in that book called Influence. I forgot his name. It's a good book. But we'll say, oh, this thing can't happen because X, Y, Z, and ABC. And that's not true. All we have to believe in is the main thing, that I am determined to do this. I am determined to grow. As I always say, I say these things so I can remind myself that I want to share these thoughts with you. You are determined to grow. So this evening, when you're doing your craft, your work, your study, your plan, your mastermind, and you got your pinky and the brain moment, and the brain, and you're working your thing out. Be like a plant that's put in a pot by a window, and just be determined to grow. And you may have to twist and you may have to turn, but you're going in the direction of growth, and that might just be up. And just grow. Don't worry about the rest. Because it may not be pretty. It may not come to you pretty, but you need to do it at that moment. You might just need to do it. Because your belief of, well, it has to be this way. Your belief of, that's not how I would do things. Your belief of whatever it is may just be making it hard for you to attain. And I'm speaking from experience. Because I wanted to do music for a long time, man. And, I do music. But I believe that it had to be presented a certain way. We get stuck on presentation so much. Sometimes getting stuck on a presentation just slows everything down. Maybe we should get stuck on growing and producing something and just saying, hey, this is what it is. The next one's only going to get better. Maybe that should be your rule. Here's the one I made today. The next one's only going to get better. Here's the one I made 2 seconds ago. The next one's only going to get better. I just made this one 2 seconds after the last one. Didn't it get better? Just keep producing and just keep producing. Look at how nature is. It just keeps making grass blades. He keeps making leaves, and he just keeps making them. And after a while, you got so many of them, you got something that you can enjoy called a tree. You don't even care about each and every individual one. They all become a body of something. Tree doesn't sit there and be, making all these decisions. It just says, let's keep producing. The tree believes in one thing: I'm going to grow. And once that tree stops believing in that, it dies. And that's just as simple as that. So tonight, when y'all grinding, just believe in what you are supposed to be doing. Believe that you're supposed to be growing, and your stuff's supposed to be magnifying, and you're supposed to be getting abundant at it. Just keep growing, keep pushing. It's not going to be perfect. What's going to be perfect is one day it's all going to come into something, and then somebody's going to ask you, how the hell you do that? And you're going to say, I just kept doing it, and boom, voila. You a sorcerer. Oh God, now Chris is talking some nonsense about sorcery. Now he's going to some magic. You are magic. Your brain is an electronic thought that came out of nothing and says it wants to produce a product or a service for somebody, or a piece of entertainment, or it wants to produce something that's going to change the world. And you're sitting up here every night trying to make sure that happens. And you don't know how it's going to happen, but eventually it starts to happen. And because you're sitting here and believing that it's going to happen, and you're going to stop believing in the things that's going to hold you back from making it happen, you are going to create magic. I want you to keep grinding, man. I'm going to keep grinding too. And I'm going to keep making this good and even grinders, because I know one of y'all going to listen to it. Somebody going to say, hey man, thank you. Watch what you believe. See if your beliefs created a rule that's holding you back from getting it done. Just get it done. If you're doing it on social media, if you're doing it already and people loving it, just get it done. Just get it done. My podcast is not perfect. Some podcasts, you hear the traffic and all that, it's just getting done. And I already see people asking me, how the heck you do that? Anyway, don't forget, grab a handful of wheat, get your grinding stone, make your flour. You need flour before you make dough. Before you make them donuts, you need some dough. Grind on. Rise and grind. Read that book by Damon John too. That book is dope. Talk to you soon. I love y'all from the heart. Want to see y'all do good. Tell me what y'all doing. Hit me up at the Chris Complex. At the Chris Complex on Twitter. Peace.